When drawing any structure in pen and ink, take your time in drawing it as accurately as possible. The most important aspect of drawing is getting the perspective correct. Now take note of the vanishing points, especially with 2 and 3 point perspectives. The framework is most important. Take the human body, for instance. It would only be an immovable lump of flesh, were it not for the skeleton to hold it up and keep it together. The same goes for a house. Now this wooden house needs a frame to hold all the other planks together. When drawing a building such as this one, I normally plot in as much of the dark lines as possible, in this case where all or most of the shadows are cast. This method forms a lovely framework for the rest of the drawing. Once the framework is complete, then only add in all the other structural lines and outlines. Cross-hatch all the shadow areas, because shadows give form to the structure and also adds to the different tonal ranges needed to accentuate that form. Sometimes we need to draw some intricate details so that we can add the shadows correctly. Another method I use is to jump around the drawing when adding the shadows in the cross sections. I find I can get a better balance in the tonal ranges rather than just start at one end and work through to the other end. For interest, use different types of cross-hatchings to show the various textures such as tiles, curtains, deep shadows, etc. When adding straight lines, be careful to keep them in the correct perspective relative to the vanishing points. Keep working on the shadows and plot in the cast shadows before filling them in. The shadows are not all the same tonal range. Some are light and some are much darker. The tonal ranges are regulated by the spacing of the lines and cross-hatchings. The closer the lines, the darker the appearance. When filling in the shadows, draw the diagonals first before the second set of diagonals. It is best to simplify all the intricate details because we are sketching and not photographing. The mind is a wonderful entity as it will fill in all the relative details for you. To add further interest, use various thicknesses of pen nibs. They vary from 0.1 mm to 0.5 mm for the ones used the most. For the very thin lines, use a 0.1 mm nib or a mapping pen being used here. When you draw vegetation, simply sketch the outlines and then fill in with squiggles and straight lines depending on what subject is. Here you can use your imagination and artistic license to create the effect you want. I also prefer to leave the darkest of darks until the very last moment. If you begin too dark in the beginning, you will have a problem finishing off your drawing. When you have a large area to fill in, it is best to use the largest nib available to you. Where there are branches and twigs overlapping the house, as seen in this photograph, it is better not to draw them in. Only at the end go over and regulate the overall tonal range. Please like this video if you enjoyed watching it and leave the comment below. Now don't forget to subscribe so we can inform you when we bring out more tutorials like this one. If you would like to see the full version of this class, head over to onlineartlessons.com. Thank you for watching.